So what's the weirdest thing you've ever fermented?
The weirdest thing that I have ever fermented, for me, this is weird. I don't know, maybe this isn't weird for anybody else, but it's Jerusalem artichokes.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't have any in my garden. Not now.
Well, I didn't either, but I was at a party at my daughter's one day, and they were passing around a jar, and I didn't know these people. You know, and we're passing around jars, and and I'm going,
What do you mean passing around jars?
They had a mason jar.
A jar
they're
party?
passing, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they were passing around a jar, you know, and everybody's taking their little selection out of there. And Jerusalem artichokes are ugly. They're knobby. They're kind of a pale color.
How are you supposed to prepare them? Steam them?
I have no idea. I'm new to this whole thing.
Okay.
But it was a perennial vegetable, you know, where we live, and I thought, you know, this is really a good idea, so let's try it. And as they're passing around the table, I mean, it was quite an experience. These people were oohing and eyeing, and I don't know them, but I mean, you know, 6, 8, 10 women oohing and eyeing, how bad can it be? I've since learned that's not necessarily true, but I tried it, and it was outstanding. It was outstanding. And the woman who explained it just simply had a ratio of salt to water, and then she used what she had in her backyard. She had some fresh dill, she had some black pepper berries.
So she added that all together with the Jerusalem.
Yeah, so it was salt water, it was a brine, and then she added these different things that she had in her backyard. She had garlic, she had onion, she had dill, and she just stuffed that in a jar and was passing that around, and these ugly little things floating with weeds in the water. It really was disgusting looking. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. And so I went home and ordered some artichokes and made it myself, and it was quite good.
That's good. Yeah. Does it soften it up quite a bit?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Is it crunchy when it's done?
It is crunchy.
Okay.
It's not the same crunchy as if you were to eat it raw.
Fresh.
But it does have, it's just like cabbage. When you ferment that, it does soften it somewhat, but it doesn't make it slimy or gushy or anything like that. How about you? What's the weirdest thing that you ever fermented?
Well, when I realized that I could ferment any vegetable that I wanted to, I went to my fermenting book and I looked for it, and it didn't have what I wanted to do. And I thought, well, shoot, if you can do any of them, you can do this. Cherry tomatoes.
Really?
There's a reason why you don't ferment just plain tomatoes. There's a reason. You know, we've done tomatoes in salsa, but you do a lot of that with the peppers and the onions and other stuff like that. So I just decided, because I had so many cherry tomatoes, that I would go ahead and ferment them.
Yeah.
Made 2 or 3 quarts of it. Took it to a Weston Price meeting and showing all my friends, hey, I fermented cherry tomatoes.
Are they still your friends?
Which, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They were beautifully preserved and everything. Looked good. It had been 2 or 3 weeks, and they looked really good. So we tasted them. We opened them up and tasted them. And what I didn't anticipate was the fact that you've got whey, which is kind of acidic tasting and sour tasting, on top of the natural acid of tomatoes. And they bloomed and multiplied in their acidic content, you know, plus the lactic acid that's formed. So we each took a bite of one and knew that it was a bomb.
Bad idea.
But kept our faces straight, because it was like, we were thinking, okay, now what would you put that on? Well, we could set it on the table cold and then maybe put a spoon on top of chili, because you don't want to put it in the chili because then you've destroyed all the nutrients that you've tried to preserve.
Right.
So she suggests that we just put it on the table and you spoon it as fresh tomatoes on top. And then we just kind of looked at each other and burst out laughing and said, no, there ain't no way my family's going to eat this. But that was a big...
So it was a composter.
Yeah, it was compost material.
We call that field food at our house.
Yeah. But it's funny food, because it's been
funny,
all
fizzy
these
field
foods
food.
and learning all these things that have given us the best stories, because you are dealing with a life that's even more untamable than your children and unpredictable. You just don't know sometimes. So you learn to treat it with care. You learn to get into a habit of what works for you, what doesn't, and what your family will eat. And that all just comes with time and experimentation in your own healing table.
And it can take on a life of its own.
Absolutely.
We have stories.
Yeah.
We have stories.
Stay away from lacto-fermented tomatoes. That's one thing.